Our garden is done.
Finally!
Yes. So you want to take a look? We'll give you a little tour.
Let's go inside and have a look around. Keep walking straight.
Let me give you a brief description of what we fit into this space. We have 8 of those, 2x4 galvanized beds. We have 10 of these larger grow bags, miscellaneous smaller ones, some recycled tree pots. We have an old wagon filled with flowers. We have 2 green stalks, and then miscellaneous pots to be able to add some flowers for the pollinators. Gotta help them, right?
So nice to have all this stuff inside a fenced area away from the critters. That was the whole goal. And so just to review that we've got a couple of other videos related to our garden build that led up to this moment. I'll put a link to one of them up here. We'll add some more links in the description in case you'd like to relive the rest of the backstory that led up to this. But this is the story of scope creep. We had a friend's RV parked right about here for about a year, and then when he left, there was this big bare spot, and we're like, well, we have to plant grass. And then Renee said, no, wait, blueberries.
I see blueberries. Yes.
And it's like, that's a great idea. Let's do blueberries. Well, we'll need to fence that in. And it's like, well, if we need to fence that in, we should maybe fence in a little bit bigger area. And it was like, well, if we're gonna fence in a little bit bigger area, and it morphed a couple more times, I think, and it ended up being what you see here today. Mm-hmm. So we're at 36 by 42, where the overall dimensions are concerned. Initially, we thought it would be smaller. If you took the outing with us where we went to go get some materials for the build, the fence posts, we brought enough materials back for 10 posts. And the original plan was there was going to be one post like right up against the outbuilding. We were going to hinge the gates from there and then latch the gates on the other side. But as we were trying to auger holes, well, it turns out the concrete footing for the post that holds up that corner, the corners of the building, are big enough around that we couldn't get a fence post that close. So we ended up doing what you see here, but that gave us the bonus of 2 leftover posts. So rather than just, cast them aside, you know what? We're just going to move those to the other end, and we ended up with an extra, 12 foot deeper in this dimension than what we had originally planned for. Mm-hmm. So that gave us that total of 36 by 42. So really happy with all of the space. You've been wanting like a garden mm-hmm. for how long?
Oh, forever.
Forever.
Yeah.
Like your whole life.
Like my whole life.
Yes.
Yeah, I've done raised beds and containers, but having a full, a garden. Yeah, a garden,
a
right?
garden.
Yes. Yes, much more space than I anticipated. But again, this is still a testing year. I don't know what's going to grow, what's not. So it gave me an opportunity to put some extra pots out, try some new things. We'll see. Again, test garden mode.
Yep. Everything looks green and thriving, and I'm really amazed at what you can do. So we've got some highlights from the build of the construction leading up to what you see here today. Let's roll the tape, and we'll meet you back here at the end. So some real life challenges right out of the gate with the very first hole. About 12 inches down, I hit a rock. It wasn't this very rock, but this is representative of the cobble and the crap that is part of this little corner of the planet that we're on. Even the dig out for the foundation for the house, or even just the dig out for the footings of the pole barn itself. I didn't have to do those, thank God. But it was ashore and there was a lot of rock, and this is one of them. So I'm only about 12 inches down. So I think I'm just gonna surrender to moving the hole over a little bit and get past the OCD of the fact that my steel posts aren't going to be precisely 12 feet apart, which was the original plan. So we just hope and pray that when I scoot over a little bit, I don't hit yet another rock that is putting me in the same position that I'm in now. So we'll see how that goes. So this is fun. I've never had this happen before. Not that I've used this auger a ton, but I managed to get it stuck. Usually while I'm boring the hole, you lift up every now and then to pull out the spoils. Well, I think maybe I just didn't do that often enough, and there's just extra spoils piled on top of the bit, the auger itself. So gonna have to reel in some extra muscle to maybe help extract this thing. Yeah, I've only got half the holes done that I need to do, and had a couple of trials and tribulations already. But that's life in the big city. That's projects like this, and we just keep forging ahead. And then a miracle happened.
Ta-da!
Ta-da! Well, from your perspective.
Yeah.
The posts are up, and we forgot to film that part, but.
Yeah, I actually bribed Joshua and Jacob, my sons, to come over and help us set these in concrete, excuse me. But these posts are a little unwieldy, and boy, it went a lot faster having extra hands. So yes, I bribed them with some food, and they came over and helped us set those. And that was a couple of weeks ago. So now they're really sturdy, and they're ready for us to start putting up the fencing materials.
Yeah, if they're not set by now, they darn well better be. It's less about that they're unwieldy, more about the fact that the auger just kind of like wrecked me after the day. You saw there was one, I think it was this hole right here, where I hit a rock and the auger kind of got away from me. Well, that happened several more times, but I managed to get the 24 inches worth of depth done in all of them. But then adding the extension to the auger to bring it down like an additional 12 inches. Yeah, recruiting the help for having somebody else wrestle the auger for a minute. I'm a wimp, I admit it. So yeah, just having that help, and it's just nice to have more hands. So now it's time to actually put up the fence fabric itself, which I don't expect to be too awfully fiddly. I've never done this before, so making it up as I go along. I don't want to overcomplicate it, but the one thing that concerns me is we didn't like level the whole area, so there is a little bit of incline going this way, and then that way, and then there's
It's lumpy, bumpy.
It's yeah. The grade drops. So if there's anything about this that's going to make it difficult to make it look good and not like floppy and just amateurish, it will probably be that factor, but we'll see how it goes.
Yeah. Just pardon all the purple martins. I just mowed, so they keep swooping in, getting the bugs that I just disrupted, but we're glad to see them. So anyway.
Okay.
Squirrel, bird.
Bird. Okay. I thought this was pretty clever, so I wanted to show this off. So professionals probably have some really fantastic gear for stretching fence, but we knew we wanted to have it as taut and decent looking as we could. And so just like yanking on it wasn't it was obvious that that wasn't going to be sufficient. So this is just a piece of electrical conduit that's sort of like woven in and out every, I don't know, 4 or 5 squares, just to give us something to pull on. So one ratchet strap up high, another ratchet strap down below, and enough, enough buffer here to be able to pull things over and not run out of room. And it works really well.
Yeah.
So we crank it over until we get everything nice and taut, and then add wires to tie it on permanently, take all this crap apart, and then move it on to the next post. So we wanted to make sure that it actually worked like we thought it would before we shot this little segment, but we've actually done all the posts down the south wall. So now we're working on the west side. From setup to adding the wires to taking it apart is about 20
minutes. Yeah.
20 minutes, a little more, like per post. So do the math. We've got 10 posts or 12?
We have 10.
We have 10 posts. So yeah, it's
It's a beautiful day today.
it's a great if there's a day to be
from that perspective. Right?
Yeah, if there's a day to be working outside, this one ain't too bad. But yeah, so it's tedious, but I'm pleased with how it's coming together, and it's not going to look like a total. It's not going to look too awfully DIY. I think it'll actually
it's gonna be okay.
I think it'll be decent. So anyway, we're gonna keep going. And so that brings us to present day. Now, the obvious to do is we're going to bring in, not quite sure, bark or rock or something to go over the top of where all the landscaping fabric is. But that can kind of happen at any time, really.
Right.
We were feeling a little bit, Renee was feeling a little bit on the clock as far as getting things actually moved from your little grow house actually into their homes. So how'd that go?
Well, I was targeting Mother's Day weekend, which was a few days ago, to get things planted. And so at least the infrastructure was in. That was great. So over the weekend, I started moving things out, just hardening them off, moving them around, trying to get them adjusted, and planted them 2 days after Mother's Day, thinking, oh, well, I've made it. Well, it got really hot on Wednesday, and they scorched. So pretty much everything that I grew except for one lone cherry tomato is dead. So I did have some tomatoes from my daughter-in-law Becky and some flowers I found. So I do have some things, but what I'm going to do now, and some things did make it. I shouldn't be so melodramatic.
Yeah,
but
don't be too hard on yourself.
But I still have time to be able to put it direct sow. So I'm going to do that. And we'll see what happens. Again, this is Test Garden 2.0, so we'll see how this works. Learning opportunities all around. And if it doesn't work, then I'll just go get some starts. But just the fact that the infrastructure is in place was huge. This took a lot of work. And so just even loading up all the beds and things like that, and putting down the fabric and putting in the fence. So next year we'll be in such a better place. I'll be able to get out here much sooner. But the emphasis was really on getting the infrastructure. And at the end of the day, if I have one pepper, I'll be happy.
I'll be happy, yes.
Yeah.
Every year it's a progression, right?
Absolutely.
It's a journey.
This is probably one of the most satisfying spots when you have a spot to fill. Like, I've been waiting for this. Like, I know, I'm a little OCD, but I've been looking forward to filling this gap.
I don't blame you one bit.
All right.
So you are laying it out.
my cute little grow house and some of the things I attempted to grow in there. You're probably wondering, hey, did anything make it out here? Some things.
Some things.
Some things. You know, I think it was a good, another, practice run at things. It was really hot when I put things out, so some things died, right? And I knew that might happen, but a couple of things did actually work. So I have a couple of tomatoes. My sweet potato slips are doing great. So that was great. But most things that you see out here, I direct seeded them, direct sown, whatever it is called. That's what I did here. So, and these guys in these bags are actually volunteers from a compost pile. So I don't know what these are. These might be acorn squash, carnival squash. I don't know.
We have a hefty variety of just about.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you've got greens of various kinds in your green stalks. That makes sense. Mm-hmm. We've got a couple different kinds of tomatoes.
Yes.
Some of those are mystery plants as well.
Those are mystery plants. Yes, those are from Becky. She wasn't sure what they were, but that's okay. Yes, and we've got some peppers that I got from the local nursery.
Yeah.
But yeah, most of this is direct.
And some flowers to kind of brighten things up.
Flowers from the store.
So we're shooting this in July. Some of the highlights that you just saw actually take us back to April and May when we were doing some of the construction. We wanted to kind of show you the garden in full swing. You've done just a fantastic job.
Oh, thank you. It's been fun. It's been, I'm learning obviously, and I'm feeling very hopeful because everything is lush and green. But yeah, it's been going well. I don't have an irrigation system set up, so can see over here I've got some sprinklers set up on timers. So that's one way to because it's been really dry.
Just hoses and timers.
Hoses and timers and me.
Yep. It's looking great.
Thank you.
Yep.
So in another video, I shared the plan for my test gardens, and this was really going to be just about the blueberries and test garden 2.0, and my future garden was going to be on the south side of the house.
The Uber garden,
by the potting shed, right? And so when we were able to expand this one, I got to thinking, it kind of feels like this might be enough. And so really I've abandoned the idea of putting in a garden over there. I get some more steps in since the potting shed is over there, but meh, that's okay, it's good for me.
Yeah.
But this feels really, really great. It's protected from the wind with the barn here. It gets
Yeah.
lots of good sun. We got a hose bib right there, so it actually,
Yeah,
and
so
I
we
think
went.
it'll produce enough for us.
Yeah,
right?
we went from raised beds right up next to the house to this was going to be medium garden, and then we thought one day we would outgrow this and graduate to uber garden on the other side of the
Yeah.
property. But looking around, I feel like this is going to last us a good long time.
Yeah.
With what we've already built out here. So as I say with all of our projects, it's been a long time coming, a long time in the planning. Super happy that it's finally done, as it is with all of you DIYers out there. You've got grand plans, but it's all about carving out the time and setting aside the funds to actually make it happen. So hopefully this story of our build out has been inspiring to you, whether you're looking to build out a garden at your place or build whatever it is that you've got in the queue of things to do, that you actually get out and do it. Thanks for joining us, DIYers. We love you so much, and we'll see you again soon.
Take care.
I worked on it too.
All right. I know you. Have you had caffeine?
No,
Oh.
that's next on my agenda.
This is natural.
Yes, this is this is just your hubby.
Okay.
Just your wired hubby.
But you look really nice though, and I'm all grubby.
You want the vest?
No.
Will that work?
No, that's okay. You're good.
Okay.
You're
All
good.
right. Okay.
Okay. So, not so.